Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. I have my buddy Niraj from Northern Ireland. How are you, buddy?
Jerry, I'm great. Thank you for asking me back onto your podcast. Last time we had so much fun talking about Edge of a Broken Heart. That was
I
actually a
know.
dream come true for me. I have wanted for years to talk about that great song.
Yeah, I love that song. But now for people that are watching on YouTube, you might notice that Niraj might have thought he was going on an AC/DC podcast, but I hate to break it to you, but you're on a Bon Jovi podcast.
I know, but okay. Just to be clear, I came back from holiday in the early hours of the morning of my family. If you're listening, I haven't shaved today. All my Bon Jovi stuff's my parents' house, all the CDs, everything it's not quite as elegant as Jerry's, but I've got like my own Bon Jovi room, but it's in my parents' house because they have more space. So yes, I haven't had a chance to get changed. And it was either wear an AC/DC top or a business suit.
Yeah.
Those are the two options I have.
I'm just kidding with you, buddy. Before we get started, for people that are listening, I'm just getting over a head cold, so I'm a little congested, so I might be hard to understand, so I apologize. But before we get into our fun topic, buddy, I always like to ask my guests, you might have mentioned this on the last pod, how you became a Bon Jovi fan, but
Sure.
th-
It was
tell me again.
1985 summer. I was touring with the Northern Ireland Youth Orchestra. So all these 17, 18-year-old kids, I was only 12 going on 13. And everybody was playing the typical, pop music. And by the way, it was on cassette in the tour bus we had. And somebody put on this song and these amazing keyboards. Na 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 na. I'm like, who is that? It goes, it was Bon Jovi. That's amazing. And you had that, and you had She Don't Know Me and Love Lies and Shot Through the Heart. Who? This is amazing. I'd never heard anything like it. And I came back a week later from France where we were touring with the orchestra, and I went straight to Pop In, which is my local record shop, and I bought the first album and I bought 7800 Fahrenheit. And I just kept playing the first album. When I love music, I just played over and over and over again. And as soon as I finished it, I thought, wow, that was amazing. I had really low hopes for 7800 Fahrenheit because the debut was so good. And then 7800 Fahrenheit just took me to another level. Really, just loved it. Still do to this day, some 40 years later. Love 7800 Fahrenheit.
That's amazing. And your favorite song again?
Only Lonely.
Oh, what's that brings us to our topic. We are going to talk about Only Lonely. Now, you and I both know this is a huge fan favorite. It's one of my favorites from 700. A little quick background on the song. It was the first single for their second album, 700 Fahrenheit. Now, fun fact, and John actually said this on a Sirius XM special yesterday from the demos special that we got. He had mentioned that Richie really wasn't a primary writer until Slippery came in. And
Mm.
so this is something rare that we don't see very often in the Bon Jovi catalog. This song is written by John and David. Um, this now, if I remember my numbers correctly, I think this peaked at number 54 on the Hot 100 and somewhere in the 20s on mainstream rock track on the charts. And if I remember correctly, this also played in the movie Light of Day, which has my girl Joan Jett, which I love Joan Jett. And I can't remember what part of the movie it's in. I think it was just like a faded background. Like I'm trying to remember. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, but we were talking some 30 years ago. That was with Michael J. Fox. That was
Just
a
history.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I was a teenager back then. But it's fascinating as a teenager, the Bon Jovi experience when Slippery came out, I was at just queuing at the shop that day. I still remember that. With New Jersey, we had major exams, like final exams on at school. And my parents, very strict Indians, were saying, "For God's sake, would you turn that music off?" It was the same. My mom's like, "Why do you play the same songs over and over again from those guys who look like girls?" I said, "Mom, they're called Bon Jovi. Show some respect."
That
Um,
man could get so many girls.
Oh God,
Oh
I
my
know,
God.
but it was just the music makes you so happy, and it was interesting because you look on online, it doesn't say David Bryan, the keyboard player, it says David Rashbaum, which I think is his real name. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, he got it changed. I think 700, I think it's still listed as Rash, but I think in Slippery they put it as Brian.
Hmm.
But before we get into the meaning, the music video, and all the other fanboy stuff we're going to do about this song, why is this song your favorite?
Every time people talk about what are your favorite Bon Jovi songs, some songs always slip out of the top five, some songs always come back in depending what kind of mood you're in. But nearly all the time, you want to make a memory, living in sin, I'd die for you, and only lonely are nearly always there. Certain songs like Edge of a Broken Heart will appear, and then sometimes it'll drop out, and You Give Love a Bad Name comes in. There's always certain songs that pop in and out, but Only Lonely is always there. And I think it's a number of reasons why. First of all, the song for me never got the love it deserved, ever. Um, but hardcore Bon Jovi fans like us love it.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
also, we talk so much about Bon Jovi, we talk about John. And John's a legend. We adore him. We love him. But in this version, and even the live versions you hear, Tico's drumming is awesome.
Hmm.
Alec on bass was superb. Dave's keyboard's magnificent. Richie's guitar, for me, it's a band song,
Yeah,
and that's I love it so much.
and it's very key led, if that makes like it's very David, it's a heavy David on it, which is great. I expect that, that intro, which we'll get into, but that's what I really love about the song. I think it's a very complimentary David and Richie song musically. Obviously Tico and Alec, all sound great. Um, but let's get into the meaning of the song. For me, I think that's really what the song is about. It's about having the pain and heartbreak of a relationship, and you're trying to survive through a breakup. You're trying to cope with it, and you're trying to get over that special someone, but you just can't. That's what a lot of the first two albums were about, was that
Mm.
loss and breakup and this and that. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it is for me, I think. That the type
very
only
similar to me as
lonely.
well. Very similar, but also don't forget they're young guys. They're in their 20s
Oh
writing
yeah.
this. I think there's only so much and of course with Slippery they had Bruce Farrenburn, and of course they had I think Bob Rock mix it possibly, but I know they had Desmond, which made that from me just took them to another level. It really did,
Yeah.
because I'm a huge Desmond Child fan. Every time people ask me, apart from when I say Richie and John, who's your favorite songwriter, I go Desmond Child, and people go, who? I'm like, seriously? I
I
always
know.
say
How do you
Desmond Child. I always
legend?
say Jim Steinman. There's certain people whose music I buy everything they do. Um, but no, for me lyrically, this song it's just as powerful as it is musically.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into the music part of it. I think my favorite part about the whole song is like Rich's guitar.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch like some live footage, some like fun fact, like in 2010, I remember when the band had posted, I think it was on MySpace in 2010. This was right before the Circle tour.
MySpace.
Yeah, what's that? And the band had posted, what songs would you like to see on the Circle tour? And they're like, we want to bring some rarities out. And so I was like, just typing my life away,
Yeah.
and I was like posting all these deep tracks like, She Don't Know Me, Only Lonely, Tokyo Road, I Die for You, Never Say Goodbye, Edge of a Broken Heart, all that early deep, Fear, Woman in Love, stuff from these days, Crush, Bounce, and so on. I probably left like 100 comments.
Mhm.
And well, just a side note, what was funny, like people were like commenting, "Living on a Prayer," "You Live a Bad Name," "It's My," you're like, they are gonna play those. That is everyone's chance to get a rarity. So anyway, so the band actually did bring out some really deep cuts on the first leg of the Circle tour. They did Tokyo Road, Let It Rock, Only Lonely, which is why I'm bringing this up. And so it was really fun. There's a really fun sound check video on YouTube where Richie's doing sound check for Only Lonely. Like he's just playing his guitar parts, and it's just awesome, you know.
Mhm.
And but yeah, so I think that's what really shines for me in the song. And that just that intro, with the key. Did you listen to the demo that they did on Sirius XM last night?
No, I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Because literally, when you're flying back on a 4.5 hour plane journey, internet sucks. And you're at the airport, internet sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And of course, when you're taking the family home, it has to be Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo
Oh,
or Sabrina Carpenter, or Bon Jovi. Because when Bon Jovi plays, it has to be the same songs over. It has to be "It's My Life," "Living a Prayer," "You Could Have a Bad Name." It's always the same three songs. My kid, I'm like, stop. There's more to it than that. Okay.
yep. That's where so like for my family, if we're in my Jeep, guess what? We're listening to whatever I want to listen to. And chances are it's gonna be Bon Jovi, and you're either gonna like it or not. And
Mm.
actually my son, he's 15, he's gonna be 16, but he
Wow.
wasn't a Bon Jovi fan. And he just never got into him. And then but recently, because he's been listening to like deeper stuff in the car and or in the
Mm.
Jeep and stuff, he's like, you know what? I like this song, or I like that song. And they're deeper songs. My wife, for example, when we first started dating, she only knew Live on Prayer. When we first started dating, she came over to my house and she walked into the collection room and she knew I was a fan of Bon Jovi. Oh yeah, like, he likes Bon Jovi, okay. She comes over, she walks into the collection, she goes, I didn't realize you love this band this much. And she's always been supportive of my fanship of the band. And but she got into the band, like her favorite song is Something to Believe in,
Ah, that's a good
which
song,
is
by the way.
great.
Really good
So
song.
but let's get back on track here. So that intro with the keys and the guitar and drums, I think is just beautiful. And one of the other things I love about this song too is the build-ups and the pre-chorus. I think they're the pre-choruses. Like games we play, words we say, cut and wounds we know that run so deep. And then the other one I think is it's similar. Games we play, words we say, cut and wounds, leave it all behind you because someday love will find you.
Or
And
Someday Love Will Find You.
and
Yeah.
I just want to add this real quick. We're talking 1985 Bon Jovi. Okay.
Mhm.
We're talking the second album of 700 Fahrenheit. We're talking about an album where the band was still trying different things. They were trying to say, okay, does this work? Does that work? What's our chemistry? What works? You look at songs like, oh, and we know that John doesn't like this album. I
Mhm.
don't know why it's a gem. But you look at these songs, especially the songwriting, especially on this song here, and it's art. I love the way that John and David wrote this song. I love the way that John delivers the lines. I love the way that the music carries the song and the lyrics. It's just for a band that was just starting out and still trying to find what worked. This song is just a real gem, and I think it should have been a bigger hit than it really wasn't a hit. Like the song deserves more recognition.
100%. It's not your typical catchy chorus because
Yeah.
they're saying the same thing over and over again, but because the band, as far as I'm aware, all of them are singing backup vocals in this, and it sounds so powerful. And I think if you look on YouTube, you have the cheesy 80s video, which I thought was
Yeah,
hilarious.
which we're gonna get into that in a little bit, my friend. But another part that I really like too, and this is probably my favorite part of the song, and this kind of goes into what I was saying, just how the way that John delivers this song is getting sometimes I don't know where to stop, when to go. Sometimes we're so afraid to let it show. And then it has that little the ba da 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 da, and then a stolen kiss so out of place. It wipes a smile right off your face. Because when those feelings start, we let them go, and then that second let them go, John just his voice just gets louder and in your face, and then the music comes in, throws in that punch, and then it gets into that chorus. I think it's just brilliant. I just love the way that it's composed and written and sung. It's perfect.
That is beautifully said. There's a bit of just because I knew you'd ask me about the lyrics thing, and my favorite part with his lyrics are games we play, words we say, cutting wounds that run so, and he just goes
Yeah,
so, and again the power of his voice was just it delivers so much emotion and so many different
yeah.
layers of emotion as well. I think that's why we
That
fell in love with the band so much.
Yeah, John just has that vulnerability and that heartbreak and just letting it out. It's like caging in all these feelings and then just letting them out.
Yeah.
Like there's like I said, a lot of vulnerability in this song, I think, vocal wise. Um, we got it would be a crime to do this podcast and not talk about the bridge, which is this is one of the like a lot of fans' favorite part. I got this time bomb ticket in my
Oh
hand.
yeah,
This
yeah.
time I think she's gonna blow. how can I say get away when I just can't let go? And then it gets into that guitar solo. Man, oh, and you know what? I could not listen to this song and not sing along to that part. You know, it's just I love it. You know,
Yeah,
and while
you know
we're
what he says the last bit just before the solo. Gah! I mean, again, all the different emotions he's singing.
yeah,
It's just incredible. Yeah.
yeah. And I love the way that, you know, Richie plays that solo, the tone and just that 80s vibe, you know, I love it. You know, and since we're talking about lyrics, I want to talk so if anybody goes on backstage with BonJovi.com, great website.
Mm.
I go on there quite a lot and just I'm like a kid in the candy store. Anyway, so if you go to the 7800 section, you go to the Only Lonely section, there are some handwritten lyrics that didn't make the final version of the song. And one of the two lines that really stuck out to me and I think really kind of describes what the song is about. I wrote it down here. Broken hearts can always mend. Love may leave, but never end. You know,
Wow.
especially that last line, love may leave, which means they break up with you but that love never ends in your heart. And that's why it's hard to get over a relationship. You know, so like those 6 words just really capture what that song is about.
They do. I mean, that's just lovely, and that's just such a it's such a great part of the website. I'm so happy they introduced that because
Yeah,
for fans like us, we just geek out on it. I mean, you change two lyrics of a song, it's exciting to us. It's like
yeah,
with Star Wars fan, they add 8 seconds of extra footage, and the Star Wars fans go crazy. Same with Bon Jovi fans. And you know what? I know that John's got a new version of Slippery When Wet coming out, and I really hope that whether it's a new album coming out next year or this year or the next version of New Jersey, I want them to release not another version of Wild as the Wind or Blood on Blood or you know Wanted Dead or Alive. I want to hear songs like a different version of Only Lonely. I would like to hear songs that have
yeah,
different lyrics that never made the final cut. That would be really cool, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's like the beautiful thing about the Sirius XM special was that we are getting 2024 mixes of songs and demos and stuff like that. Like even the new mixes, like the new Super One that's coming out here in a couple of weeks. It is a 2024 mix. Audio, obviously, we've got editions from the 80s, the 98 remasters, the 2005 dual disc release, the 2010 special edition, and
Mhm.
now the 2024 release. Audio has changed so much since
Mm.
86. And hearing this album on Dolby and a new mix to it, like I listen to Wild in the Streets and Wanted Dead or Alive. It is so much better, like audio wise, especially like the guitar work. Like Raise Your Hands, for example.
Oh.
It is so good. Like it's already guitar heavy, but it's even guitar heavier on this new
Mm.
version. It just takes the songs to a new level.
Mhm.
Um, but let's get into our last part of this song, and I'll let you take the lead on it because you brought it up earlier. The music video, one of the
So
greatest videos of all time.
when I had this, how old I am, when I got this, it was on VHS cassette. That's how old this was. And Bon Jovi had it was I think it was back it was some kind of behind the scenes of Bon Jovi. They would talk to the whole band what they were like backstage, but they also had videos of all the videos they did, from Runaway to maybe She Don't Know Me,
Yeah,
In and Out of Love, I think. Possibly The Price of Love, but definitely Only Lonely. And Only
yeah.
Lonely is my favorite song. I just remember this cheesy video with these gangs. I'm like, what's going on here?
What
But
is
as a kid, you're fascinated by stuff like that, you know?
yeah. On backstage, John quotes Jack Cool, he's the director. Jack spent 2 weeks coming to New Jersey and we showed him who we are. We're not pirates or on horseback. We're a rock band. Really not sure where he was going with that quote there, but so the crazy thing is too, and John has said this too, it's not the band's fault where these videos like look at Runaway, great song, but what the fuck is going on in that video? You know, or you look at She Don't Know Me. What the
Yeah,
fuck is this? You know,
yeah.
and then Only Lonely. You know, great song, but like where like so for me, I always thought it was like a 2 hour movie into 6 minutes.
Hmm.
And you like have no idea what is going on other than it's like like the band is fighting with like a crime lord or something while John's going through a breakup and like the
Yeah.
whole thing like at the beginning where I think it's John where he grabs some guy by the shirt, rubs him up against the wall
Yeah.
and goes, "Man, you sold
You
us
sold us
out."
out. That's right. I remember that.
Sold
Yeah.
you out from what? I don't know what you're talking about. you know? Um, and I think even David roughed somebody up in the video, but then there's like no audio, just during the song. Um, yeah, just those early videos, like I said, Runaway was cheesy, She Don't Know Me was cheesy, Only Lonely was cheesy. Ain't It All Love was actually a pretty cool um
Mhm.
song or video. I think that kind of captured what the band was about on the boardwalk in New Jersey. Silent Night was actually pretty good too. But yeah, Only Lonely, like yeah, and John admits it. It's they're bad videos, but I still like watching them because my favorite band, and just like I said, those first two albums really show you where they were going. You knew they were going to make it big, and they were just trying different things. And I just don't know what the director was thinking with with this video. Um,
Also, 1980s music videos were very new still. And you see the difference between that and the first single from Slippery When Wet, which I think was You Could Love a Bad Name.
yeah,
And how the difference was just incredible. I mean, they looked like one of the coolest rock bands in the world all of a sudden, you know?
yeah, you're right. And they looked awesome. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a music video, but back then that was like a way to show people who we are. Like people nowadays, like people will just listen to music on streaming, like they don't ever watch a music video. But back then, this, that's how people discover new songs or you know who this band, like for example, like Bad Name, for example, like that's when the band really figured, okay, we got to take control of our videos. We got to show the fans who we are and what we're about, which is being a live band.
Mm.
And look how well that went. And so like all these other bands were doing that. Like every video that you see from the 80s, Motley Crue, Rat, Kiss, Cinder, all those bands, all their videos are on stage, because that really captured who they were. And so they're like, F the cheesy videos. Uh, anything else you want to say about the song?
John, David, anybody from the band who is listening, please, on your next tour, do a version of Only Lonely. It'll make fans like me, Jerry, and all the fans who've been with you for so long so, so happy. Only Lonely, Edge of a Broken Heart, Full Moon High, I mean, Borderline, just any of those songs, please, just one of them will make us so, so happy.
Yeah. My dream is to see Edge of a Broken Heart
Yeah,
live.
that would be remarkable. That would
I
be
know.
incredible.
But stay on, buddy. Thank you for taking the time to come on today. It was a lot of fun. I knew you'd bring your A game. I knew this would be a fun discussion. I know it kind of sucks. I'm nasally and I'm congested right now. I'm probably not making any sense, but I was excited to talk about Only Lonely today. It was great.
I love speaking to you always, and thank you so much for asking me back again. It means a lot to me.
Absolutely, buddy. Let me turn this off. We'll stay on tap for a little bit and then that's great.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, buddy.